In order to subscribe to my channel, please click here or click here. Please share, comment, and like my videos and channel. The next step configuration category is REST. That means you can perform REST inbound integration testing with automated test framework. As you know, you must have different third-party applications connected to your instance. That means they must be sending inbound requests to your instance, and maybe they are fetching some data or maybe they are inserting some data. Now, how can you make sure that whatever data they are getting, that is expected data, and then they're not getting any kind of errors? In that case, you can perform testing of your REST inbound integration with ATF. We will talk about service portal testing and custom UI in later sections. Now, in this REST category, we have different step configuration like send REST request inbound REST API Explorer. The first step configuration which I'm talking about, now this is not exactly the part of ATF, because this will take you to the REST API Explorer, which is the inbuilt functionality, the out-of-the-box functionality of ServiceNow to perform testing for REST integration and to understand what kind of different out-of-the-box APIs we have in ServiceNow. Apart from that, we have other steps, that is send REST request inbound, assert status code name, assert response time, assert response header, assert response JSON payload is valid, assert response XML payload is valid formed, assert XML payload element, assert JSON response payload element, and then last we have assert response payload. So let's start at how exactly you can perform this testing in ATF. So the demo we will have about REST integration testing. This is my personal developer instance. I am going to create a new test, and that will be ATF demo REST integration. I'm going to save this. Once saved, I can add step. So first step we will see under REST category is this one, that is REST API Explorer. Now, even if this step is added into this category, this won't be added into the step, because this will take you to the REST API Explorer. So you can see, I will go back now, and then we can add another step, and that step is send REST request inbound. Now, before I start and before I add this step, now in order to do this testing, the important part here is, because we don't have any other third-party application, so what we are going to do, we will use one of our table API here, and whatever data we get while doing testing REST API Explorer, we will try to validate that with the help of ATF. So here we have incident table selected. You can see now this is the endpoint which you give to your consumer, and they will send the call to this particular endpoint and perform the operation as per their requirement. In that case, if I click on send, you can see you can get some data. As of now, it is returning the record, the data for one record, one incident record, because you have this sysperm limit. So if I go here, so let's do one thing. Let's try to first send the request, the inbound request to your instance. So the input for inbound request, we have this, and here I will add a user. So I already created a user, that is ITIL user. I will add it. Here I have to add the path. Now what path I can mention here? You have to mention the path till here. This is for incident path. I'm going here, I'm mentioning the path. And I'm not putting any kind of parameter. Maybe if you want, you can put the parameter for sysperm limit, because otherwise you will get a lot of incidents in response. So I will put sysperm limit, and I will just do 1 here, and I will click on submit. I will validate again if I have all the data. You can see this is becoming empty. Now, I don't know if it is kind of a bug in ServiceNow or like as part of the ATF bug, but I have tried it many times. Whenever I am putting the value here, I don't know, it gets disappeared. But that's fine. I'm just mentioning right now. Now this time it won't. This time it won't. So I'm just putting the value, and I am just going the test now. And I will try to send the request. That means I will run the test. So I will run the test. It gets passed. So it is passed. Now if you will go to the result, you will see that we are getting response 200 okay. Now I'm not asserting it. I'm not checking that whether I'm getting this or not. But you can see this is the data which we have. I can pull it a little bit down because that is really important. Now this is the same data which we are getting in REST API Explorer in response, and your consumers will get the same response, but you can validate it. So you can validate further things as well. So let's go to your test to add further steps. I will click here. The next thing I will validate, that is assert status code. While doing the inbound request, am I getting the right status code? That's the important thing. So I will add here, and I will put operation is 200. I will click on submit. I will add another step, that will be code name. So I will click on next. Here operations contains. I will not do contains. Maybe I will put directly OK, because that is the status code name, and I will click on submit. Then I will click here, and I will add another step, that is response time. But how much time does it take to provide the response? So in that case, I will click on next. So the response time minimum should be, and that is in milliseconds, less than 1000 milliseconds. I will put 1000. I will click on submit. Now I'm just showing you the demo. The values can be different for your testing, because as of now I'm doing for incident. You might do it for change or for any other APIs, maybe the table import APIs, whatever different APIs you have in ServiceNow, you can try to test it. Then we will add another step, and that is response header. Now till here, let's try to do some testing. I will click on run test. Everything is successful. That means we got the 200 response. Yes, actual was 200. We got the expected code name. Yes, the actual was okay. We got the response time less than 1000 milliseconds, and yes, it was 122 milliseconds. Everything as expected. I will go to my test, and the next test step I have is header. Assert response header. Whether I'm getting the right response header or not, expected response header. So here I can mention I have this like response here, you can see, and I have this content type. So maybe I can mention here content type header, and then I can mention JSON. Maybe it says contains, and I will put like this. or maybe I will just put like contains JSON. I will click on submit. I will try to test it now. And let's see if, yeah, so we are definitely getting that header. So if I test it, yes, actual header value is application, that there's the whole value. So yes, we are, it is, so we mentioned contains, and yes, it is able to test properly and passing. So similarly like this, you can perform testing for headers as well. So whatever headers you're expecting, you can validate them with the help of ATF. Then we have assert JSON payload is valid. That means if I click next, whatever data you are getting, whatever response you're getting, is it the right in JSON format? That's what you're going to validate. So assert a JSON response payload is valid. I will test it and let's see if it gets succeeded. Yep, it gets succeeded because we are getting the data in JSON format. If you're getting the data in XML, and if it's the data is valid, in that case you can validate XML as well. And how? You have another step, that is XML payload is well formed. That means it's valid. That's how you can validate XML response payload as well. Now then we have XML and JSON response payload element. That means whatever response you are getting, is it in the right structure? That element is present in your response. So I can click on next. Now, as you know, it is definitely returning a number. In that case, what I can do, I can maybe try to put some query. Maybe we are getting this number, and what I can do, I can try to check if I can get the same number. So maybe I have this query and I will put number equal to, oh, I will copy this one, copy, and I will paste it. Yeah, doesn't matter. I will make it 10 as well. It won't affect. If I click on, yeah, I am getting the same 60 incident number when I send that call. Similarly, what you can do, you can use this sysperm query. In that case, what I can do, I can go to my test. I can go here. I can put a query parameter, that is sysperm query, and I can put number equal to this one. Yeah, that's part of the demo. And I'm saving this. So it's saved. And then I'm just going here. Now I'm going to validate it. What I have to validate? The element. Here, what I will do, I will click on next. But it's XML, so we have to validate JSON one. I will go to JSON, click on next. I have to mention the element path. Now what that path is, the path is result first slash result slash incident, and then I can put the value. So I can put the value maybe like this one, and that's it. Let's submit, and let's see if it is able to validate this element. I will click on run, and then it will run the test. It got failed. Let's see where exactly it is failing. So okay, it is not matching with the operation you mentioned. So you see like result element, expected element value is this, and element name is this. So the response payload value does not match with a specified operation, and that's kind of strange, right? We mentioned the same value. So the element first expected value is this, and if I see actual element, okay, so it is not returning the data. We can definitely try to see this here in this particular. Not really. We are getting the data. Yeah, you can see here we are getting the data. We have this number here. Ideally I'm using the right format, which is mentioned on ServiceNow documentation as well, but I'm not sure the why it is not pulling up that particular response element, because you can see even if I see the results and I click here, it says that expected element value is this, and it does not match. So we have this one, and if I say the actual element value is that. So I don't know why exactly it's not working. Ideally it should work, but that's okay. You can try in your instance. Maybe there's some issue or bug. If that's a bug, you can definitely raise it with ServiceNow. I will show you the last step which we have, and the last step we have is assert response payload. I will go to next. Here I have operation contains response body, or maybe is. I will try to do is. And how? I will do one thing. I will limit the data. I will try to just maybe just show in response some number, or maybe short description. That's it. No more data, and I will send it. When I will send it, you will see this is the data I have, and that's the data in JSON format. I will go to my test. I will put it. Okay, that's kind of assert I have to do. So first I will copy this, and then I will paste it. And so operation is this, and I will click on submit. I will just disable this one because that was giving error, and I will now run this. Let's see if I'm able to get the pass. It is failing. That's okay. Response payload does not match with a specific. Okay, it is not pay. It is not. You can see. So it says assert response payload is okay. Doesn't match with operation. Actual payload. You can see ServiceNow has given the wrong spelling as well. Payload spelling is this one. That's okay. Okay, we are getting the whole. Okay, we have given this sysperm fields here, but the mistake which we did, that we didn't add that parameter. Yeah, because how exactly it can filter it. So in that case, you have to open the record, go here, add the header. I will add one header. There will be sysperm fields, and I will add them, and I will save it. I will go to my test and run this time. Ideally it should pass and it should not fail, but it is again failing. Let's see. That's fine. Even if it's failing, at least we have opportunity to troubleshoot. We have description that's not complete. It says payload does not match with the specified. Okay, I think it just kind of maybe different format we have given. So if I think you have to write in this kind of format, and if you will write in this kind of format, so maybe I will copy this one. Maybe I will not get the error now. But anyhow, you can because I used is, but you can definitely use contains as well. So I go here, and now I put that right here, and I update it. When I update it, I run the test. When I run the test, hardly, yep, it got succeeded. So that's definitely successful. So basically the format was not right, and that's the reason it was failing. So overall, this is how you can perform REST inbound integration testing in ServiceNow with the help of automated test framework. I hope you like my video. Thanks for watching.